Hello everyone, this is Bloody Bananas. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. In this video, we're going to showcase the same 3 Pokemon that I've been playing for a while. But we changed a little bit. Now we're leading with Altaria, and then we have Empoleon in the back as a finisher. And our Mew will be our safe swap. We also changed the serve on our Mew to a Flame Charge so that we have more coverage against grass types. While also we're beating Stunfisk anyways. So I just wanted more coverage, so I decided to TM away my Surf into a Flame Charge. And I think this team is really great. It works really well against the current meta. As you guys are going to see, we're going to run into a lot of very common meta lines. And you guys are going to see a lot of games where we lose lead, but we were still able to recover from a bad lead with this team. Without further ado, let's go into the battles, and I'll go over what I'm thinking in my head. We're covering a lot of battles here. So Galvantula lead, that's good to see. We definitely want to see Galvantula in the lead, because our backline Pokemon are very weak to this Galvantula. We could tank a discharge, and if they don't shield the Sky attack, we win switch advantage. So let's see what they do here. They choose not to shield the Sky attack, which is great. We just took out the biggest threat to our backline. They're going to Polarat. They got to the Ice Punch before we could get to the Sky attack, which is fine. I believe that was actually a CMP loss. At least our Empoleon avoids it, but it turned out they had a Meganium in the back. So my Empoleon pretty much had 0 play in this game, unfortunately, which is fine. Because Mew can definitely handle this as long as we get the shields or we get the health here with the drill pack. And we got the health, so this is great. And they're throwing the Frenzy Plant in order to kill the Empoleon, which is great. That means we get a little bit more farm with our Mew. So now we have an energy advantage. We're going to bait with the Flame Charge here because my opponent has 2 shields, and it makes sense for them to shield. If they don't shield, I probably could just Shadow Claw all the way down. But because they shielded, I'm going to build up to 2 Wild Charges, and then I'm going to throw the double Wild Charges to KO. They recognize their only win condition is landing a Hydro Pump. That's why they went for the Hydro Pump, and fortunately, we shielded that, and my opponent knows that I had 2 Wild Charges, so they just didn't shield it. Okay, next game, we're against Stunfisk. Very bad lead. We're going to see a lot of bad leads today, which is great. Just to showcase that we can win the game even if it's a bad lead. My opponent stays in here. I'm just going to go for the Flame Charge to build up our Shadow Claws right away. So now we have an attack boost. I'm guessing this is an Earthquake because they stay in and now they can swap out. They're actually going to Cresselia, which is very interesting. That tells me they probably don't have a Mew answer. They just wanted to get the shield advantage at this point. I believe I don't shield this, and then I can go for either Wild Charge or Flame Charge in order to KO this Cresselia. I think I make a slight mistake. I should definitely go for the Flame Charge here, because I got to it at the same time as Wild Charge, and we wouldn't have to drop our health. Defense, but my opponent throws a move right here anyways. So at this point, I have to rely on my Empoleon to finish the 2 Pokemon in the back, right? Because my Altaria gets walled by a Galarian Stunfisk. So I'm going to let my Altaria tackle soak up the damage from Cresselia here, and then go into my Empoleon. Turns out they had a Azumarill in the back, so Empoleon can definitely beat Azumarill because we tank whatever they throw, and all you have to do is shield 1 Hydro Pump. Let's see what we do here. The waterfalls are absolutely chunking away the Azumarill. We do shield the Hydro Pump, which is great. I believe we still have to tank a Hydro Pump, which does not KO to an Empoleon. Let's see what we do here. We go for the Drill Pack on the CMP tie, or not the CMP tie. My opponent throws right here, but we got the last shield. That is crucial for us. So now all we have to do is farm up to 2 moves, and then KO this Azumarill, and then we kill the Stunfisk in order to win this game. So here we had 2 moves. We go for the drill pack, KO Azumarill, and then they came back with the Stunfisk, and we just throw the Hydro Cannon, and it's GG. Good game to my opponent. We came back from the bad lead, and then Empoleon was basically able to finish off the game. Again, a very bad lead against Azumarill, so we have to swap out into our Mew right away. They actually came out with Marowak. That is very interesting. So in this matchup, I know that all I have to do is shield once, and I can throw double wild charges. That means I either win back switch advantage, or I'm going to get 2 shields right here. That's what I'm looking for. Either get extra shields than my opponent, or I take back switch advantage. So here we do have the switch advantage here, which is great. And they have a Zoomer in the back. So now I'm guessing they might have a Abomasnow in the back. It's a very common line with the Zoomer and Abomasnow, Alolan Marowak in the back. But I'm gonna stay in here and throw all the wild charges, and I'm gonna swap out just in case they have a Abomasnow in the back. And it turned out they do have a Abomasnow in the back. Essentially, my Altaria is useless against Azumarill, and it's pretty useless against Abomasnow, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to swap out. I definitely did not want to get farmed down there. That's the worst thing that could happen. And at least now we have we kind of preserve our Mew, and we got a jump start with our Empoleon, so we were able to beat the Abomasnow there because we had that energy lead. So yeah, it's very crucial. And now I'm throwing the Hydro Cannon for a good measure, which we know should be able to KO the Azumarill, right? Okay, next up we have Altaria versus Deoxys. This is also not bad. Generally a neutral matchup for both sides, depending on what they have. If they have Rock Slide, it's a little bit worse for us. They actually threw the Psycho Boost, which does do a lot of damage, and then they're going to swap out. They go into Umbreon. We cannot swap out of this matchup, unfortunately, because Umbreon, we have to chip it down a little bit because Umbreon beats both of my backline Pokemon. But we were able to tank the foul plays. Generally, we tank 2 foul plays with our Empoleon. And I'm going to farm up as much as I can before I throw my Hydro Cannon, which is right here. I build up to 2 Hydro Cannons, and now I throw to ensure the KO. Oh, okay, my opponent actually shields here on the CMP. I believe I just let my Empoleon go at this point, because I know my Mew can beat their Deoxys anyways. And now we're up a shield, and depending on what they have, it's a Azumarill. That is totally fine. They come back with Deoxys, and Mew can absolutely go to town. Mew is very good against Deoxys. We're going to go for Flame Charge, and then we're just going to farm all the way down. At this point, we don't have to shield from Deoxys, and we should be able to farm all the way down here. Yep. And now I'm going to build up to 2 Wild Charges, and basically almost KO this Azumarill. And it will be game over after that. Yep. At this point, because they didn't show the first one, I'm gonna go for the Flame Charge, just to ramp up a little bit more. I can actually go into my Altaria, and now go for the Sky Attack to finish off this Azumarill. Altaria is an Azumarill counter confirmed. Alright, good game to my opponent, good game to my opponent. Next up, we are against Artoria versus Swampert. So, 95% of the time, if you see Swampert in the lead, you basically have won the game. As you guys are going to see here, this is actually one of the tougher ones, Vigoroth, Safe Swap, because they usually have Skarmory in the back. So all you have to do is, you go into Mew, depending on the matchup, obviously. Vigoroth, I like to throw a move, and then I'm going to go into my Mew after they throw another move here. Yep. All you have to do is get shield advantage, or you get switch advantage. Whichever one you have, you're going to win this game. Because whenever they have Swampert in the lead, they're going to have a Skarmory in the back. And when they have a Skarmory in the back, your Empoleon just walls that thing. So if you have shield advantage, your Empoleon can finish off both of their Pokemon. your Empoleon can finish off the Swampert, and they can finish off the Skarmory. If you have switch advantage, then your Empoleon can finish off the Skarmory, and your Altaria can finish off the Swampert, right? So that's generally how you want to come out of this matchup, because they're gonna safe swap into something, and all you need is either switch advantage or shield advantage. At this point, we had both switch advantage and shield advantage, which is the best you could ask for. So this is gonna be a steamroll basically at this point. Build up to 2 hydro cannons. Empoleon is an absolute wall against the Skarmory. It wins in all shielding scenarios, and you can usually come out with energy, so it's very good. Yeah, even if we didn't have switch advantage there, we had shield advantage, so Empoleon was gonna handle the Swampert and the Skarmory anyways. That's why I really enjoy Empoleon, because it can absolutely handle the Swampert Skarmory core. So here they had a Stunfisk lead, very bad for us. We're going to the safe swap Mew. My opponent went into Swampert, very smart. I'm gonna go for a Flame Charge first, and then I'm gonna go for the Wild Charge. Arguably, I should have gone for double Wild Charge to get the shields, but my opponent throws right away anyways. And I'm gonna farm down all the way with my Altaria. This is not looking very good, because they have a pretty much a full health Stunfisk and another Pokemon in the back that I don't know. Let's see. My opponent gets off more Hydro Cannons here to chip down my Altaria. Okay, so now I have to hope that my Empoleon can finish off. And they had a Skarmory in the back, so this is totally possible. We could actually totally win this game. Because they have a Skarmory in the back, and our Empoleon can absolutely destroy the Skarmory. So you guys are gonna see here. I'm gonna throw the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. Let's see if my opponent shields. If they shield, I'm gonna match my shields. Yep. So now I match my shields, and then I'm going to farm the Skarmory all the way down. So this is looking extremely good for us. Yep, farm all the way down, and now I have 2 Hydro Cannons. My opponent pretty much can't do anything at this point. I'm gonna go for the Hydro Cannon, another Hydro Cannon, and this will almost KO. All we need to do is get a little bit more waterfalls. We still have a Sky Attack stored, so now I'm going to my Sky Attack after 2 waterfalls to finish off the Galarian Stunfisk. And good game to my opponent. So even if it's a bad lead, there is still a chance that your Empoleon can finish off the entire game in the end game. That just goes to show the power of Empoleon. Again, a bad lead. We're going to go into the safe swap into our Mew right away. I'm going to go for the Flame Charge. This is also super effective if my opponent does not shield. My opponent does shield, and then they go into the Swampert. We're going to go for the Wild Charge, but my opponent throws right away, which is pretty smart. So I'm going to let the Mew go down. It did its job. It got the shield. That's what we were really looking for, right? So now we're going to Altaria. I believe we're going to hard farm all the way down. This might be the game that we misplayed a little bit, but let's take a look. Let's see if we could win this. So far, it's not looking the greatest. We're tanking a Sludge Wave, and we're tanking the Hydro Cannon here, which does a lot of damage to us. But we did completely farm down. We have a shield advantage. We swap into our Empoleon into the Sky Attack, which is very good. We soak up this damage, and it turned out they had a Vigoroth in the back, so pretty much hard countered. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that we could do in this game, unfortunately, because pretty much we got hard countered all the way through, right? It's the same Swampert, Skarmory, Vigoroth line, but in reverse order. But generally they like to lead Swampert, and if they do lead Swampert, then it's pretty much an easy win for you. Okay, so here another Swampert lead. These games are like taken in the same time frame on my stream, so it just goes to show how the meta currently is very centered around the Swampert Altaria combo. So here they came in with the Altaria. We went for the Sky Attack, chip it down a little bit, and then we go into our Penguin, Empoleon here, and hard farm all the way down. We were just the Dragon Breaths. Now we have a lot of energy on our Empoleon, so we could be threatening a lot of Pokemon here. We'll go for the Hydro Cannon here. This will do a lot of damage if my opponent doesn't shield. My opponent shields once. I'm going to throw the second one right away. We always win CMP with Empoleon, almost always, because it does have very high attack stat. My opponent couldn't even farm us down, and now they're down a shield. All we have to do is rely on our Mew to finish off with whatever they have in the back. Let's take a look here. Turned out that my opponent had a Abomasnow. This is one of the reasons why I got Flame Charge on my Mew, just to have more play against the grass types, or Abomasnow, which is kind of like a ice type, but also a grass type at the same time, right? So yeah, because we have Flame Charge here, this is a very easy matchup. All we have to do is get to 2 Flame Charges. They only have 1 shield, we had 2 shields, and we should be able to take this game. Just taking out the Abomasnow now, a couple Shadow Claws will finish off the Swampert. So good game to my opponent. Let's see, next game we have okay, taking a while to load. Alright, Altaria versus Tropius. Very good lead. Very good lead. If it's a Tropius with the okay, they're going to Stunfisk. I don't think going into Empoleon is the best decision here, but Empoleon does beat the Stunfisk. I make a huge mistake here. I only counted 7 must shots at the time, so I definitely miscounted. I thought he only got to the Rock Slide, so my Empoleon pretty much went down for free, which is very, very unfortunate. Huge misplay. Definitely a huge misplay. Let's see if we can still pull this off, okay? Let's see if we still have the opportunity to win this game. We're looking pretty bad. And they also go for the Rock Slide here instead of going for the Earthquake. Here, my opponent makes a wonderful swap, going into Marowak. Absolutely beautifully done by my opponent. I'm going to overfarm a little bit. I might throw the Wild Charge, and then I'm going to go into my Altaria to soak up all the damage. My opponent actually doesn't shield. And they came out with Stunfisk. So I believe I don't shield this. Yeah, even debuffed, we could still tank 1 Rock Slide there. So now we preserve the Mew. They got off another Rock Slide. We know that the Rock Slide does the most damage. They still have a Tropius in the back. All we have to do is have a little bit of health on the Altaria in order to beat the Tropius. So this is totally fine. We got rid of the hardest counter to us, the Stunfisk. And at this point, I don't think there's anything my opponent can do with the Tropius. He needs to get to two Aerial Aces. Excuse me. And I don't think my opponent will be able to get to the second Aerial Ace. Yep. So my opponent recognizes that he was only going to get off 1 move, and it wouldn't be enough to KO. So good game to my opponent. Made a huge mistake not shielding the Earthquake. Okay, another horrible lead. So again, we're going to the Mew right away because that's a horrible lead, right? We can tank a Rock Slide, which is fine. And at this point, we're gonna overfarm and then just throw the Flame Charge. Yep, to threaten shields, or we might be able to just one-hit KO this Melmetal. My opponent does shield. So now I'm gonna farm up a little more. We're gonna shield the Rock Slide because it will KO now. Let's see. My opponent comes back in with the Deoxys. This is actually not bad for us. All we have to do is keep chunking down this DD just with the Shadow Claws. You guys can see how much damage I'm doing with the Shadow Claws. I'm gonna shield once, and now I'm looking to farm down all the way. I wanted to preserve my Mew because I felt like Mew was my best answer to a Melmetal. Let's see what we do here. They come out with the Zoomerl. So I definitely want to preserve my Mew with at least 1 Flame Charge. I believe I farm up to a Flame Charge and then I swap into Empoleon. So that way I still have an answer to this Zoomerl if they decide to swap out. I just wanted to have a little bit of energy advantage here. So we tank the Hydro. We know they still have a Melmetal here. They go into the Melmetal. They don't have much energy. Fortunately, we didn't throw any move, so now we could just go for the Hydro Cannon right away. And yeah, once the Melmetal is out of the picture, my Mew with the Wild Charge should just be able to one-hit KO this Azumarill at half HP. My opponent recognizes I still have a Wild Charge on my Mew, and it's game over. So good game to my opponent, very close. Okay, another bad lead. We're gonna see a lot of bad leads in this video. They have Ninetales. They go for the Weather Ball, which is fine. We're gonna just tank this Weather Ball here on our Mew, and then we go for the Flame Charge. My opponent makes a beautiful swap into a Scrafty. Okay, this is not looking the greatest, but at least our Empoleon doesn't have to see the Scrafty. I'm gonna build up to when they have the Foul Play, and I'm gonna throw this Wild Charge. My opponent shields, so we grab the shield, and our Empoleon now avoids the Scrafty, so this is looking very good. If we can get to another Wild Charge here, unfortunately we weren't able to get to it, but which is fine. Scrafty is not going to get to a second Foul Play here. We tank one on our Altaria, and we farm this Scrafty all the way down. And we just avoided the worst matchup for our Empoleon. Let's see, did they decide to come back with the Ninetales? We're gonna chip it down a little bit with the Sky Attack. My opponent definitely won't shield this. And now I go into my Empoleon. And turn out they had a Azumarill in the back. But this is looking very good. We have 2 shields. They only have 1 shield. And Empoleon can absolutely handle this Azumarill with 2 shields up. My opponent didn't even build up to Hydro Pump. And they just went for the Play Rough, which does do more damage than Ice Beam. So I know at this point, my Empoleon is just going to finish off this game, right? Go for another Drill Pack here. My opponent kind of is forced to shield this. Yep. And now I'm going to throw another Drill Pack. I do have to start shielding the Play Roughs. My opponent actually goes for Ice Beam, which is smart, because I was going to shield that anyways. My opponent comes out with the Ninetales. I'm going to shield this as well, in case this is the big move, Psyshock, so it's a good shield. And then we can farm this all the way down, and we have 2 Drill Pack build up, so my opponent gives up, concedes the matchup. Good game to my opponent. Venusaur double tank, that's a very common team, right? Let's see if it's a double tank. It's not. It's just a Venusaur with the Umbreon in the back here, which also makes sense. It's kind of a tank as well. But we can't really swap out at this right away. I believe I go for a Dazzling Gleam, hoping that my opponent doesn't shield. Not all the Altarias have a Dazzling Gleam, right? But my opponent does shield. Oh yeah, I changed my Dragon Pulse into a Dazzling Gleam just for the Umbreons. It's not reflected in the in my abilities here on the right side, but yeah, I changed it to Dazzling Gleam just so I have more play against an Umbreon. Once we chip it down a little bit, I go into the Penguin Empoleon here. They're down a shield. This is looking pretty good. We have Empoleon that avoided the Venusaur matchup, so I'm pretty glad about that. They come back with the Venusaur. We have a Drill Pack to go. We go for the Drill Pack here. My opponent doesn't shield. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna farm this Venusaur all the way down. Their Umbreon is very low, so I know that my Mew can just Shadow Claw it all the way down. It's no longer a threat to our Mew. They actually come back in with the Umbreon, and this is looking pretty good for us. My opponent just gives up, so I'm not sure what my opponent had in the back, but yeah, good game. Ferret in the lead. This is a good lead. They don't really have many things that can hit back against Altaria, and we should win this matchup even if they go straight for the Flash Cannons. My opponent actually only have a Thunder, so this is looking pretty good. They go into Deoxys. I'm going to throw one Sky Attack to chip it down a little bit, and then I'm going to go into my Mew just to hard farm. Yep, I'm going to farm a lot of energy here. We tank a move. I'm going to build up to almost 2 Flame Charges, I believe. Excuse me. Okay, my opponent throws another move here. I saved up all my energy. And at this point, I'm gonna farm this Deoxys all the way down. So now we have 2 moves stored. They actually had a Digger Speed in the back. This is very interesting. I know that my Altaria can pretty much handle a Digger Speed and a Ferrothorn, right? All I have to do is make sure that my Altaria is alive. I should have swapped out there instead of getting farmed all the way down. But I'm just gonna use my Empoleon as a sacrificial lamb at this point, because I know that my Altaria is how we're going to win this game, right? So here we go for the Sky Attack. We still have 2 shields, all saved up for the Altaria. The Ferrothorn's moves are going to do the most damage if they do decide to throw the Thunder. But they actually went for the Power Whip, which is fine because they're not going to get to another move here. And Altaria is an absolute wall against the Digger Speed. The Fire Punches are all resisted. They're not going to do a lot of damage. And I think my opponent actually might concede the match. Yeah, they don't even shield that. They don't throw a move, so... excuse me. So yeah, my opponent concedes the matchup. Altaria was able to finish off that team. Okay, I believe this is a game where I horribly misplayed. Let's take a look how we misplay here. My opponent built up to 5 confusions here. So, depending on if they have Ice Punch, this is good or bad, right? My opponent built up to exactly 2 back-to-back punches. I don't shield the first one thinking it's a Thunder Punch, but they actually had the Ice Punch. And it's horrible for us. Because now our Altaria basically have no health. And I believe everyone can already kind of guess what team they have in the back. Hypno in the lead and 2 Dark type in the back. So we see the first Dark type, which is Umbreon, and we're gonna see the Scrafty coming out very soon, I believe. This is a very common line. So at this point, I kind of already knew that my best play was saving my Altaria, because my Altaria is gonna beat their entire team, right? But yeah, unfortunately, they do have a Scrafty in the back, so that Scrafty is just gonna finish us off here, I believe. If we could get to 2 wild charges, I think it would be a little better. I'm really worried that that was a bait, but it turned out just to be a foul play. Here I make another misplay. I throw the wild charge a little bit too early. We didn't go for the back-to-back wild charges. My opponent actually didn't shield, and they actually threw the move. So this is looking a little bit better, but our Pokemon are way too low at this point. That I don't think we're gonna take this game, unfortunately. We died to 2 counters. That was actually pretty close. If we got 1 more waterfall off, then maybe we could have won this game. But yeah, very close, very close. I definitely misplayed. Okay, here we are against a Bastodon and double Razor Leafers in the back. I'm going to showcase this video because basically you're auto-losing to this team. Whenever you see Bastodon in the lead and you swap into Mew, they come out with the Victory Bell, you know that they have another Razor Leafer in the back. And generally, it's game over. You basically have 0 play against this team, unfortunately. Because the Bastodon hard counters your Altaria, and the 2 Razor Leafers hard counter your Empoleon and Mew, right? And they come out with the second Razor Leafer, Cherim, so it's pretty much game over. Nothing we can really do. I'm just going to showcase this video just to show that there are teams. Doesn't matter what kind of team you have, right? You're always going to lose some other teams. So, and I'll accept those losses. In return, we always win a matchup against the Swampert lead and the Skarmory in the back. So there's always going to be that trade-off here. Here we're against Panic. Again, a bad lead. We go into the Mew. They go into the Tropius with Razor Leaf. So no way that we can take back switch advantage here, unfortunately. I believe I shield here and then I go for 1 more Flame Charge. But I could only get off one more play here, one more move here, so it's not looking very good. Tropius is also a very good response to Mew, especially the Razor Leaf version, because you can just fast move down my Mew. So yeah, we lost switch advantage there. We lost the lead. Let's see what we can do here. We have Altaria versus the Tropius. What my opponent has to do is let the Tropius go down and then come back with the Galarian Stunfisk, I believe. Yeah, unless they had a Skarmory in the back. If this was a Skarmory in the back, then I had a chance. But a Pelipper, he could just go for straight Weather Balls. And nothing we can really do. Because this is a pretty neutral matchup. We resist everything they throw at us, but they also resist our waterfalls. Drill Peck does not do that much damage, so yeah, this is we don't have much play here, and I believe we're going to lose here. Let's see if we can farm down, then maybe. Nope. So yeah, I'm gonna save my opponent some time here because I know it was game over and I decided to concede the match. Again, if you were running into hard counters, completely hard counter team, just recognize that it was a team comp loss and there was nothing you can do. So, which is fine. There are a lot of games where you can't win them all, right? So you just have to accept those losses. Here, Altaria Mirror, I like to go for the Sky Attack and hoping to catch the very next one. At that point, they'll be very low, so they'll be very likely be throwing here. I went one Dragon Breaths too early. My opponent held on to the energy. Here, they had a perfect hard counter here in Toxicroak. Fortunately, I got the Drill Peck, so either I get a shield or I KO the Toxicroak just like that. So, very strong there. And then they had a Zoomer in the back, so I don't think the result would have changed too much because they had a Zoomer in the back. My Mew was gonna handle the Zoomer anyways, so yeah. And at this point we can go for 2 Drill Pecks to really chip down this Zoomer. I might go for a swap here. Nope. So here I let my Empoleon go down, obviously. And then I come out. Oh, okay. I actually come out with my Altaria because I know I have a Sky Attack stored. My opponent shield the Sky Attack. I go into my Mew. Let's see. Do I shield this? I shield this in case this is a Hydro Pump, because I know Hydro Pump will do more damage than the Sky Attack from the Altaria. And I also know that my opponent is not going to get off 2 Sky Attacks, so I'm going to farm down all the way of this Altaria, and now we have a Wild Charge. My opponent knows that Mew is going to win CMP, so my opponent gives up the match. Well played. Here we're against Hypno again. If they have Ice Punch, then they have Ice Punch, right? That's usually my philosophy. My opponent built up to 5 Confusions there before they're throwing. Hopefully they don't have Ice Punch. They went for the Shadow Ball, which does do a lot of damage. We go for a 1 Sky Attack. I believe I'm gonna swap out at some point, or my opponent. My opponent swaps out into Sableye here. What I like to do is go for the Sky Attack. If they don't shield, I come out with Empoleon and farm down. If they do shield, I come out with Empoleon anyways. But now I have to commit a shield as well. So, but if they didn't commit a shield, I was just gonna farm down and not committing a shield, right? So here, I do have to shield once, and I don't believe I could farm this all the way down because the Shadow Claws are absolutely chunking down our Empoleon. We end up throwing the Hydro Cannon here. They farm us down with the Toxicroak, which is fine. We Mew can absolutely handle a Toxicroak, right? They actually came back in with the Hypno. Let's see. Okay, I went for the catch with our Altaria, just as when he reached the Shadow Ball, but he actually went for the Fire Punch, which is fine. My opponent's get a little bit of more energy here. I believe he has 6 counters, so I know this is a Mud Bomb, but I decided to shield anyways just to be safe, because I'm gonna get to double Wild Charge before he gets to another Mud Bomb. So yeah, I just went for the safer play in case he had a sludge bomb. But just from counting his moves there, he only got off 6 counters, so he shouldn't have a sludge bomb. But this is fine, just to ensure the victory. Good game to my opponent. Hero against Alpha Phoebe, also a very strong battler. Let's see, they have Galvantula. Like I said earlier, we definitely want to see the Galvantula in the lead. They safe swap into Umbreon. We don't have a response to this. So I think what I'm going to do is chip it down a little bit with the Sky Attack. Here I go for the Sky Attack. And then I'm going to safe swap into Empoleon. Something very weird happens here. So he got off 2 Snarls when we only got off 2 Waterfalls. But the second Waterfall came from sneaking in, right? Here I think it happens again. Yep, it's a little bit weird. We only got the move through because we sneaked it in. So I think I was a little frustrated here because I thought that I was gonna get off the high. He wasn't gonna get to the foul play before I get to this Hydro Cannon here, but this is all fine. Let's see what they come back with. They come back with the Galvantula. I had some energy stored, and this Hydro Cannon is definitely going to threaten this Galvantula. So they got off one more move. They go into the Azumarill. This is very good. I'm also counting the bubbles here. So he had 7. This could be a Hydro Pump. Do I shield this? Oh, I don't shield. That did huge amount of damage. So this is very important here. I have to get to the 2 wild charges. If I don't get two wild charges, I lose this game, right? It's simple as that. Fortunately, we got off 2 wild charges here. No fast move sneaking here. So we got off 2 shields. Well, we got off the last shield. And now we have Altaria versus the world here against the Galvantula and a Azumarill. They got off a move here. Yep. This charge does not KO here. All I have to do is build up a little bit of energy and then go for the Sky Attack. So as you guys can see, I have a little bit of residual energy after throwing Sky Attack. And we're going to get to the Sky Attack before the Azumarill gets to the Ice Beam. And even if he got to it after the 4 bubbles, Altaria is going to win the CMP anyways. So very, very close game. Very, very close game. Very good game to my opponent, Alpha Phoebe. Here we're against Altaria, against Stunfisk. Again, a lost lead. We're going to safe swap into the Mew. We're going to see lost leads a lot, especially with Altaria. It's either a good lead or a bad lead. It's either something that walls Altaria or it's something that Altaria walls, right? So here, I think I don't shield this. Okay, I do shield this, and my opponent baits with the Rock Slide, which is fine. Opponent goes into Pelipper. I'm going to build up to 2 wild charges before throwing. So here, they go for the Weather Ball. I know it's not going to KO. And all I need to do is get off 2 wild charges here. I go for it right here. And I need 1 more Shadow Claw. My opponent was counting perfectly, so he knew I got to the wild charge, and he threw at the same time to win the CMP. Very good play by my opponent, so that they didn't have to give up 1 more shield. At this point, I have to rely on my Empoleon to finish off the game. I'm going to tank whatever that Pelipper has to throw, and then we're just going to put our faith into Empoleon. Turned out they had a Meganium. I think this is going to come down to the wire, guys. Because with the energy, I think maybe, just maybe, our Altaria could actually finish off the Stunfisk. Let's see what happens here. Our Empoleon goes down to the Frenzy Plant, and we're going to hard farm all the way down against this Meganium. He actually got off 1 more Frenzy Plant, which puts us into Rock Slide range. Here I have to land a big move of Dazzling Gleam, but I go for the Sky Attack first. My opponent doesn't shield. Very good play. And I don't think I have enough firepower to KO the Stunfisk, who still has a shield, before he gets to the Rock Slide. Ooh, he got through the rock slide with 1 HP. 1 HP, guys. Very, very close game. Very, very close. Good game to my opponent. There are some games that are just very, very close. We basically got hard countered all the way through. So, not necessarily all the way through, but they do have a very good counter. So here they're going to Stunfisk. Whenever they're going to Stunfisk, I like to go into my Mew because I know Mew beats the Stunfisk a little bit more reliably, and I should generally come out ahead with shields or with energy, right? Let's see. So my opponent goes up for another rock slide. I don't think I shield this. Yeah, because I counted, I knew that he was just gonna throw the rock slide, and I didn't want to shield that. Here I go for the flame charge. We either KO or we get a shield here. We actually get a shield. So now I'm gonna match the shields from my opponent here. I believe I'm gonna match the shield. Yep. Do I go for the full farm down or do I throw the flame charge? I could have thrown the flame charge, but I got a little bit greedy and I tried to farm all the way down. But at least now we have a move coming out of this matchup. They come back in with Bastodon, so it's Metacham and double tank in the back. Fortunately, we won't switch advantage, so we have our Empoleon to match up against this Bastodon. They went into Metacham. I'm gonna throw this drill pack right away to chip it down a little bit, or we get the last shield, which will be very important. So now we have the Altaria versus a Metacham. I don't want to KO this Metacham. This is very important. Because if we take down this Metacham, we don't have the switch clock. We can't switch after taking down this Metacham. And we're going to get farmed down all the way by my opponent Bastodon. So here I stopped attacking there. Completely stop attacking. I don't want to win this matchup. If I win this matchup, I'm going to die to Bastodon. But here I finish off. I only have 1 HP. I'm only going to giving my opponent 1 smackdown. But that was actually a CMP tie, so that's even better. But even if my opponent didn't throw energy here, I think they could only get off 1 flamethrower, which meant that it wasn't enough to KO our Empoleon, and we were probably going to win that game anyways. But yeah, it's very important in that very last matchup. You don't want to give your opponent more energy to farm. So here they have Scrafting the lead, and then they go into the Dribblim safe swap. We caught a Icy Wind with our Empoleon, so that's looking very good. Now I throw the Hydro Cannon at 5. That's when they get to the Shadow Ball. I want to CMP tie my opponent there. I believe this will be a Shadow Ball. And here I think I make another mistake. I wasn't sure. I didn't know that it only takes 4 hexes for the second Shadow Ball. So I thought this was an Icy Wind, but it was actually a Shadow Ball and it KO'd us. So not great, not great. I believe I go into my Mew here. I know that with the energy lead, Mew can still take out a Scrafty. Here I'm also counting. I know that he needs 2 more counters in order to get to a foul play. So I'm gonna swap here to catch. Yep. So here I caught the foul play, and this is looking pretty good for us. They have a Lantern in the back. Very, very interesting team by my opponent. Definitely respect the Lantern play here. Very interesting. We're gonna tank 1 Thunderbolt. We get off 2 Sky attacks. What I'm hoping to do is put my opponent into farm down range. As long as we can farm this Lantern down with our Mew, we just need to throw double Wild Charge back to back in order to KO the Scrafty, right? So even though it's a bad matchup against the Scrafty, with energy lead, Mew can still absolutely handle the Scrafty. But we do have to farm this Lantern all the way down. My opponent does come out with the Scrafty. Fortunately, we had enough energy. We got just enough farm that we can throw 2 Wild Charges back to back to finish off this Scrafty. And then we just need 1 more Shadow Claw to finish out the Lantern, and very good game to my opponent. I believe this is the last game. Altaria, okay, again, very bad lead. We're gonna see a lot of bad leads. Let's see how we can come back from the bad lead. My opponent went into Marowak. This is very interesting. My whole team actually beats Marowak, so Marowak essentially has no play against my team. I'm gonna go for the double wild charge here. If my opponent doesn't shield, I'm gonna KO. My opponent does shield. We're gonna get to the second wild charge before my opponent gets to a move. Either we take back switch advantage or we're gonna KO this Marowak. So we killed them. We got 2 shields. At this point, I'm gonna let my Mew go down, and I'm gonna hard farm all the way down with our Altaria here, I believe. Yep, my opponent makes a mistake here by giving up switch advantage. I'm not sure if it's a mistake. Let's see what they have in the back, but they definitely gave up switch advantage here. So Empoleon is an absolute wall against the Ninetales. This is a very good matchup for us. Side shock, weather ball, we resist everything, and yeah, this is looking pretty good for us. We're gonna go for the Hydro Cannon. We have a little bit of residual energy. See what my opponent comes back with. Marowak. So I'm just gonna throw this Hydro Cannon on CMP when my opponent got to a move. So it forces my opponent to not have anything energy, right? Here, I'm going to swap out because my Altaria is still at full health and I still have a shield. So basically, I think my Empoleon could just finish off this game. I think I was trying to catch a Grass Knot. That's when I swapped out for Waterfalls, which is when they get to the first Grass Knot. But this is fine. We didn't catch the move. Here, I'm not even going to shield, because I know that my Empoleon is only 1 waterfall away from getting to the Hydro Cannon to win this game. My opponent went for the Grass Knot bait, and at this point it's game over. So yeah, very good game. I think switch advantage was absolutely crucial for my opponent there, but I could see that they didn't want to get they didn't want us to farm all the way down to have energy to throw at the Alolan Ninetales. But yeah, so good game to my opponent. I think this team is very good. It definitely requires a little bit of finesse to play, because you want to switch around a lot of times. You want to preserve all 3 of your Pokemon. They each complement each other very well. So yeah, give this team a try. I think this team is very strong. Like I said earlier, it handles the Swampert Skarmory core very well. If you see the Swampert in the lead, and then Empoleon, a lot of times it can just finish off entire team. Once you got rid of the fighter, then generally Empoleon is an absolute beast. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and comment below. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more team showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed these battles, and I will see you guys in my next video.